Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, thank you so much for watching my video. Please share this video if you care. Please hit that like button. Also, subscribe. And once you subscribe, you will be open to a plethora of movies, television series, and pop culture chats. Also, make sure when you subscribe, you hit that notification bell so you do not miss an upload. All right, coming back at you with part two of the most anticipated movies of 2024 from from June to December. So let me share my screen, share my screen. Where did we leave off? Right here in June. Haha. So, one of the most anticipated movies to be seen in 2024 from June is Ballerina, which is directed by Lynn Weissman, starring Anna de Armas, Keanu Reeves, Ian McShane, Lance Riddick, uh, R.I.P. Lance Riddick, Norman Reedus, Angelica Houston, and Gabrielle Byrne. So this is the first spin-off film of the John Wick universe, starring Anna de Armas as one of the female assassins trained by the Ruska Roma, the criminal organization headed by Angelica Houston, and glimpsed in John Wick 3. Details are thin so far, but we know it will be another revenge tale, and we know that it will be set specifically between the events of Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. So Keanu Reeves and his Continental cohorts will also appear. Okay, because look, when I come late, when I come to the party, I may come late, but when I come, I show out. And I came late to John Wick, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of the John Wick movies with Keanu Reeves. I hope that this keeps up with that tradition, and I look forward to seeing this one. So I'm anticipating this one as well. So then we have down here at the bottom, we have The Hitman, directed by Richard Linklater, and it's starring Glenn Powell, Adria Arjona, Austin Amello, and Retta. Based on a 2001 article in Texas Monthly, this action comedy from Richard Linklater stars Glenn Powell as an undercover police officer in Houston, Texas, posing as a hitman who breaks protocol to help a woman stuck in an abusive marriage. Mm. That's interesting. I think wasn't there a murder for hire plot where a woman tried to have her husband off, and uh, the person who she asked to do it went to the police, and she was therefore caught. It was a whole big old mess. They showed her pictures that he had died, and then he didn't. It was a whole big old mess. Now that's a movie I'd want to see. I want to see what led up to all of that. But can you imagine being called and said, "Hey, we need you to participate in a fake unaliving because your wife is threatening has hired somebody to do it." That would shake you. That would shake me to the core, child. All right. We have also anticipated in June. We have Bad Boys 4. It's going to be starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Uh, so this is just a fourth installment of the Bad Boys franchise. I think I liked the first one, and I okay enjoyed the second one. I didn't find the third one too enjoyable. So let's see what Mike Lowry and Martin and Marcus got going on, because I think one of them is retired or something like that. So this is just going to be interesting because they are now. I think the Bad Boys franchise suffered from the fact that they should have done these movies back to back to back to back to back. So many years had passed, so they their shenanigans is too great for the ages that they are now. I hope I'm making sense. That reminds me of the what is that franchise with Danny Glover and I can't think of the guy's name. Um, Lethal Weapon, the Lethal Weapon franchise. It started off good, but the only problem that it had was the fact that the actors were actually just too old for the shenanigans of the character. Not to say that they did not play those characters well, it's just that the actors themselves were really too old for the shenanigans that was going on for what their characters or their bodies couldn't keep up. And I'm hoping that Bad Boys 4 doesn't fall into that as well. So we have Inside Out. This is directed by Kelsey Mann. It's anticipated for June. Inside Out. Inside Out. The first one was about a little girl and her emotions and how her emotions were playing out in her brain. It was such a fantastic movie. I enjoyed it. But so we'll see how this will play out. We have the Bike Riders. So this is going to be directed by Jeff Nichols. It's supposed to be opening on June 21st. It's after being pulled from the 2023 release schedule due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. Jeff Nichols' period drama switched hands from 20th Century Studios to Focus Features and earned a new release date in the summer of 2024. Inspired by the 1967 photo book of the same name, fictitious, fictional story chronicles the rise of a Chicago motorcycle club over the course of a decade through the lens of its members. Okay. So we have A Quiet Place. Now I've heard about this again, horror type stuff like that is not my genre, but it's also this is considered to be a thriller, sci-fi-ish type movie. And this is A Quiet Place Day 1 is a prequel to A Quiet Place. So this is what starts everything off. And it's directed by Michael Sarnowski, and it's got Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, Dima Hazu, and Dennis O'Hare, and it's opening on June 28th. Now, the trailer looks good. It conveys a level of fear that's going on, a bewilderment and fear. It looks good. I am not sure. I've not watched A Quiet Place or A Quiet Place 2, so I am unsure if I'm going to watch this. I do like Lupita. I like Lupita and her acting. I may check it out. I may. So we got July, we've got Despicable Me 4. Despicable Me, which is going to be directed by Chris Renaud and Patrick Delage. Despicable Me is one of those animated series. Is just for children and for adults. You get a good chuckle as you keep going. I enjoyed Despicable Me. I enjoyed Despicable Me 2. I don't think I saw Despicable Me 4. I mean 3. So I have to go back through my Despicable Me's. I like the one number one, and I like number two. So we're gonna see how this plays out. But again, it's opening on July 3rd. We have Long Legs trailer. We have Long Legs, directed by Osgood Perkins, starring Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage, Alicia Witt, and Blair Underwood, to open on July 12th. It's a horror flick about an FBI agent on the trail of a serial killer who discovers links not only to the occult but also to her own family. Baby, I'm gonna let y'all have that. So then we have Twister. Now, Twisters looks like a remake of what is it? 1996. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a remake of that. Don't know if we really needed that or not. I don't know. Uh the first one was cinematically because they were chasing tornadoes. It looked good, but I don't know if we needed a remake on that. I don't know if we needed to get really deep into that story again. However, it is going to come out on July 19th in 2024. Now, one of the big movies, this is the movie that Marvel is banking to get its franchise to turn its franchise around. I think Marvel has suffered from putting too much out too soon. I think they thought that the pandemic was going to last for a long time. So they were just kind of putting a lot of stuff out, which ended up that most of the stuff they put out suffered from the fact that they had bad writing for the characters. You had people writing who did not understand the character themselves. They were just like, oh, uh, just throwing writers out there. I think I did a little brief rant about that. Either it was on Twitter uh, about how these writers are running around here very proud, loud and proud that they did not read the comics. They didn't know anything about the character. They just took their own take about the character. And, that just doesn't work if you do not look at the source material to see what's going on with this character. You don't have to mimic everything that's in the source material in the comic books, but you damn near have to come close to what you see. It's okay to have a certain spin on certain things, but when you have a character that the fan base doesn't recognize, you lose your fan base, and that makes no sense. I think Marvel has rested on its laurels, thinking that because they have taken some obscure characters like Iron Man and Captain America and all these little different things and brought them out to more prominence, they thought that people were just going to just continue to watch the movies. And at some point, a lot of people did, because people were anticipating, they talked about this multiverse, and people were anticipating so much stuff. And I think that they should have streamlined it to say, these are the movies that are going to be involved with the multiverse. These are the characters that are going to be involved with the multiverse. And then these characters will have their own movie talking about their own thing. They don't have any tie in to the multiverse. And I think that that's what's been confusing. Uh, I will do my whole little rant about that. But I think that that's what's been confusing about this whole situation, that Marvel hasn't had a very concrete um, direction in regards to this multiverse. And also, again, I'm ranting at this point, but we will continue on. Uh, how you gonna kill a good franchise character off and not bring him back, but you can bring back every other character who's either the actor has passed away, or an actor has stopped wanting to work or be that character. You could bring every other character back, but you can't recast T'Challa. Child, please. All right, let's continue. Let's continue. We have August. We have Borderlands, directed by Eli Roth. We have Speak No Evil, directed by James Watkins. And we have Romulus, Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez. This new film comes from Don't Breathe director Fede, and will follow a group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. All right. All right. We also have Craven the Hunter coming out in 2024. Originally just set to appear sometime in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man franchise before it was discontinued by Sony. The classic Spidey villain finally makes the jump to the big screen. The film will be directed by J.C. Chandler, with Aaron Taylor Johnson uh, set to play the character. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting because, again, Marvel, regardless if you're Sony, whether you're Marvel Films or Disney, uh, y'all haven't been y'all haven't been batting 100. Y'all hadn't even made it 90. Y'all are out here making these 60s and 70s with these movies as far as scores, and so I'm not highly anticipating it. I'll let other people go watch it, and then I'll go see it. I'm not high, or if it comes back and people are not pleased, or if the trailer, like uh Madam Web, doesn't move me, I'm not gonna go see it. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. So this is a spin from the uh, 1988 Beetlejuice, which was a very good film. I think the cartoon of Beetlejuice was better. Excuse me. But they're coming back. Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hare, Jenna Ortega, uh, William Defoe. They're all coming back. Most of the original cast is coming back. So I'm looking forward to this. We've got Transformer One. This is directed by Josh Cooley. The Transformer franchise returns to its roots with an animated prequel that explores the origins of the titular robot's homeworld of Cybertron. Wonderful. And the rivalry between Optimus Prime and Megatron. You got the touch. So they're going to go back and talk about how the Autobots and the Decepticons became. Okay. It will be separate from the ongoing narrative of the live action films, and it will be helmed by Toy Story director Josh Cooley. Okay, that sounds like we got Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. He's going to voice Optimus Prime in Megatron. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Let's move on to October. We have the Saw sequel to be announced, but it's supposed to be opening in September 27th. In October, we've got Terrifier 3. We have Wolfman. Not anticipating anything big on those. In November, we have Venom 3. Now, I will tell you, don't know. I don't know. But it says Tom Hardy returns for this third installment of Spider-Man adjacent anti-hero franchise, centering on a San Francisco reporter possessed by an alien symbiote. Writer Kelly Markle steps in behind the camera for this one, whose plot we really don't know much about yet. I will tell you the first two plots, they didn't know much about it either. So this is just falling in line. Venom is a no, it's not very anticipated for me. We've got Gladiator 2, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Connie Nielsen, Dijman Hansu. Looks like Dijman Hansu is making a comeback this year. This is what, the second or third movie I've seen his name in on this anticipation list. Joseph Quinn, Derek Jacobi, and is opening on November 22nd. It says Ridley Scott returns to direct the sequel to the historic epic Gladiator. Are you not entertained? The story will reportedly revolve around a grown-up Lucius, played by Paul Mescal, who has become emperor and will see the return of Connie Nielsen as Lucia. So, okay, Gladiator's coming out, and that's coming in November. We've got Moana. Moana is making a second appearance. I think that I enjoyed the first one, so I'm looking forward to Moana. And then we have Wicked, the legendary Broadway musical that tells the tale of the Wicked Witch from the West from a different perspective, is getting a two-part film adaptation. Director is John M. Chu, and it stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, and Jonathan Bailey. Uh, this will take audience to Oz, while Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande will play Elphaba and Glinda, respectively. Interesting, interesting, interesting. In December, so this is the last month. Let's get through here. We've got The Karate Kid. And I get so tired of Hollywood just bringing back stuff over and over and over again and not having these new spins. So, I guess because Cobra Kai, yeah, I see it now. I guess because Cobra Kai was such a hit on Netflix, I guess they decided that they were going to bring it back. I think they had The Karate Kid with Will Smith's son at one point. So now they're going to bring it back. Looks like Ralph Macchio is coming back. We don't have too much information on it, but it is supposed to open December 13th, 2024. So we have also coming December 13th, 2024, we have Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. Warner, and it's directed by Kenji Kamiyana. Warner Bros.' latest film in the Lord of the Rings universe is an animated prequel that follows the exploits of Helmhammerand, the legendary king of Rohan, home of the horsemen known as the Rohirrim, that played a big part in the Lord of the Rings. So, we're just getting a prequel. Okay. Then we got Mufasa, the Lion King, directed by Barry Jenkins. It's starring Aaron Pierre, Kevin Harris Jr., Seth Rogen, Billy Eichner, John Kanai, and it's opening December 20th. It's a live action Lion King. Okay. Is getting a prequel that will explore the backstory of Simba's father, Mufasa. James Earl Jones, who voiced Mufasa in the original Lion King and the remake, will not voice this younger version of Mufasa. Instead, Aaron Pierre will play the character. Kelvin Harrison Jr. will play Scar, who goes by Taika, when the events of the film take place. Okay. They're just betting on this Lion King money. Okay. All right. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog is coming out. This is part 3. I think this has to do with, is this the one that has to do with Knuckles, or Knuckles has his own movie? But I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the second one. I did like the fact that the fans were telling them that, hey, Sonic looked a mess in the first one, and so they revamped it. So I enjoyed the first one. I took my nephew to the first one. I took my nephew to the second one. I don't know if he's going to want to go to the third one, but this sounds like it's going to be interesting. We have uh, Nurse Ferratu. Doesn't sound like anything to be nothing. Let's see. We've got Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho. It's a South Korean film. Uh, might be good, but baby, here we go. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. So uh, we are going to see some more Spider. All right. And I think the last couple of ones we've got Beverly Hills. But the last one, yeah. We've got Beverly Hills Cop. I, I don't know. Again, this was a movie took place back in the late 80s, early 90s, I believe. I see Eddie Murphy is coming back. We've got Paul Reisner, Taylor Page, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Kevin Bacon. Yeah, 30 years. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. So if Axel Foley is still a cop after 30 years, this is craziness. This is this is just craziness. And he's still a beat cop. This is just craziness. I don't know exactly. I'll go see it. I don't know what I would be anticipating about it, but I'll go see it. But it's just particularly just craziness to me. If you're going to be, Axel Foley was in his 20s or 30s in the 90s, so 30 years later he's in his 60s and he's still out there on them streets. Okay, all right. So, what do you all think? Is there any of these movies that we reviewed that you are interested in going seeing? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell your coworker, tell that helper that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos, people. And as always, bye bye.